Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is a bit of a weird video. It's a little bit of a different format. We've got two cameras going on. This is because a lot of unexpected things and also expected things are going on in my life, unfortunately all at the same time. So I have to make a little tiny video to save 1 week space while I am not able to be making videos. And I'm not sure if this video is going to do well or anything, and it doesn't matter. I was planning on doing this video anyways eventually, but I wanted to show off some of the things that I received during Ren Fair season. There's a thing that I don't know if it's just the Ren Fair that I go to or all Ren Fairs, but people like to give little trinkets to each other, and I love receiving trinkets. And this year I just wanted to show off some of them. Oh, hello, it's a cat. Welcome to the show. So, I got my little bag of trinkets and one more item that I would like to show and share and tell. Please, sir. This was the first item that I received at the Ren Fair. This was actually the first item I received. This was my husband's, but that was the day I went with my sisters and my older sister's husband as well, and my husband. We all went as a group together, and we were all dressed as pirates. It was the pirate theme weekend. We met a person actually outside of the outhouses who wanted to take a picture with me. I was dressed as Jester Lavore, and they were really excited about having seen someone cosplay a tiefling character, which I get it. It's a lot of commitment to decide to cosplay a tiefling, especially a tiefling of unnatural colors. He was like, please wait here. I'm so sorry to have to ask you guys to stay in this spot, but my friend who has my phone and the camera is elsewhere, and I know she would also love to see this outfit, so if you could just hold on for 5 minutes. So we were standing outside of like the circle of outhouses, real awkward like, and he actually didn't come back, so it wasn't just a prank. And he brought his friend who advised us to stay out of his pirate crew for one, which is fine because I was Jester Lavore and I already had a pirate crew and all that business. But for two, she also had just a bag of these. This is a really nice trinket to give at a Ren Fair. They might actually be crystal, but I don't think so. I think they're glass. She had all sorts of colors, and I picked this sort of opal looking one. I don't know, it's iridescent, it's kind of blue, it's just kind of nice. And then my husband picked all black because I've done this to him. I've turned him into a fellow closet goth, I guess. I think this was the very first trinket that I received at the Ren Fair, and I love receiving trinkets. It just makes me so happy. It brings me so much joy because not only is it like, oh, I get something cool to have and take home and remember this moment by, but also whenever I receive a trinket, it's always someone who's coming up to tell me or like my group that, hey, you guys have such cool costumes. That it just feels good. It just feels nice. It just feels nice to be appreciated. That's all. And speaking of costume, a lot of these I want to actually sew onto a costume. I don't want to call it like a memorial costume because it is a costume with another cosplay purpose in mind, but I feel like a lot of little foresty themed trinkets would look really good on it. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to spoil it or whatever, I guess. I think these are neat, and I think they would look really cool on a costume. Plus, it gives me an excuse to collect and keep every single trinket I receive because I have a really hard time throwing away things, whether or not they serve a purpose. Yeah, there's that. This I received the second day I went to the Ren Fair. Oops, it's upside down. That actually shows up really nicely. I was worried you wouldn't be able to see that on the camera, but there's like a leaf, a snail, mushroom. It's on this like wooden coin. I received it the second day I was dressed as Jester Lavore. That was actually the day that I won the contest, but this was before that. I was taking pictures with a group of people, and a girl ran up to me and she was like, I have the perfect thing for you. And I was like, oh, sure. And she gave me this little like wooden coin, and I was like, oh, this is so cute. I love mushrooms. And she was like, no, stupid, turn it over. This is the Captain Tux. This is the Captain Tusktooth insignia, if you're not familiar with Critical Role or like Campaign 2 or whatever. This is just the little thing. I don't want to give spoilers. I guess it's not a huge spoiler, but Captain Tusktooth, essentially it's just like a little iconic thing belonging to Jester Lavore. So it was really neat. I don't know, maybe she was holding on to this to give to a Jester Lavore cosplayer, because I know I'm not the only one that does it at this particular Ren Fair. It's a pretty big Ren Fair. It was just really cool. I remember this trinket as a trinket trinket I received on the day that I won the costume contest as Jester Lavore. I thought it was really cool. I really like it. Or maybe I'll sew it onto the Jester Lavore costume, pirate jester costume that I made. Ooh, I don't know. So, number 2. All right. Sorry, I have them all in my laps. This is really weird to be looking down like this. So this one I received the second time I went with my sister, just my older sister this time. This is a little teeny tiny book with a lot of little teeny tiny pages. This is the least cool one. No, I'm joking. This is really cool. But it wasn't from another like a random person. My sister actually gave me this one, which I think is great. She actually got them because she wanted to hand little books out to people who stopped her at the Ren Fair, because she went to the Ren Fair as Belle, Beauty and the Beast Belle, and she does an excellent Belle. She does a fantastic Belle, and all the little kids at the Ren Fair freaking love it, and she wanted to give little books to them. I picked this book without even realizing that it actually matches my D&D character journal that I haven't used because I have anxiety about destroying new sketchbooks and journals. That's that, but it's still neat. It's still neat and I love it. All the rest of my trinkets, which I'm pretty surprised that I got so many, I received on the day that I went as Io. I don't know why I think that's so incredible, but Io is my own creation. It just feels more special to me. Anybody can love Jester Lavore for being Jester Lavore, but if somebody comes up to me and is like, oh, Io is so cool, that's like, Io is mine. That's all mine. Like, so I don't know, it feels good, man. I don't know. I love being validated. One of the validations I received was this shell, which again is going to be perfect for sewing onto aforementioned costume. This one bigger hole, which would be great for like, I don't know, either macrame, sort of like knot work, which I don't know how to do, but you know, I can't be stopped. I actually unfortunately don't remember who this came from. I wish I did, but I gotta be honest, the day that I went as Io was kind of a blur, both literally and figuratively, because I couldn't see very well out of the contacts. So there's not like a vivid memory of each of the people that gave it to me. There's only like a blurry, like dream-like memory, which is really interesting. It's really neat. I really like it. I love shells. I think they're cool. It's gonna go great on my costume. I received a lot of rocks, I guess, which is cool. Crystals. I don't know if that shows up super well, but yeah, it's this pinkish crystal and it does have a hole in it so that it can also be used as like a bead, something that I can sew onto the costume. I received this little item and I was like, oh, it's a rock. I had to hold it like this close to my face in order to be able to see what it was. My husband's like, it's not only a rock, it's got like a little hole drilled in it so you can sew it onto something like you've been talking about. And I was like, oh, that's so cool. I should not have been unnecessarily excited for hole drilled into a rock, but you know what? Just crafting things, I guess. The friends that I went with, it was their first time at the Ren Fair, so they got to experience not only a lot of overwhelming Ren Fair things, but also a lot of overwhelming Lady Split Chin Isn't cosplay things, like getting stopped for pictures and getting little items. So, you know, that was fun, but they all passed around the little trinkets to inspect like what I had received and like, is this a real crystal or is this a real stone? What is this made out of? How is this made? Because like all of them are like STEM majors or most of them are STEM majors. I don't know if it's my friends or just STEM majors in general, but I feel like there's always a STEM major friend who picks something up and tries to figure out how exactly it was made. All right, so here, let me hold this close so you can see it. This is another item I received. It's just a really cool rock. I don't know anything about rock because all of my brain cells got put into chemistry and crafts, which is very witch vibes of me, but I'm not a witch, I promise, despite what my friends might tell you. I'm not Baba Yaga. Don't listen to them. They are wrong. If any of you are the geology ADHD type people, please, if you can identify, or you know, just regular geologist, because I guess that's a real occupation, and you don't just have to be hyper fixating to learn about an interesting topic like rocks. Oh boy. Yeah, if you could tell me what kind of rock this is, that would be so cool. I would love that. I had a couple of people approach me while I was sitting at that table with friends. There was a guy who asked me for directions to somewhere and I could not for the life of me figure out where exactly he was talking about, and I was trying to do my best, and he was like, yeah, your best guess, that's awesome, I appreciate that. And then like we both sat there for 5 minutes just speculating approximations of where what he was looking for was, and then he was like, you know, we're actually in a very crowded area. I could have just turned around and asked someone else, but I really appreciate it. I was like, oh yeah, I guess you could have done that, huh? That was fun. I think he gave me the rock, but it might have been someone very soon after. But it's a really neat rock, and I associate it with that fun memory because I was sitting at that table at which I had no idea how to give directions, because I get lost very easily, and you should never ask me for directions because I don't know where anything is. This I got, and I was so excited about getting it because I love little teeny tiny potion bottles, and I always want to get them when I'm at the craft store, but I never have a good enough excuse. And now that I have this, and if I like fill it with something and I add it onto my costume, like I have to get more to match it, right? So I have to get a ton of little potion bottles for my strongest potions that would kill a dragon, let alone a man. I received this, I think, while I was walking over to the joust area to go sit with my friends. They were all just as excited as me over this potion bottle. They were all like trying to figure out how it was made and what it was made of. Also, I found out the last time I was filming, which unfortunately is deleted and doesn't exist anymore, that the cork comes out. I thought it was maybe, oh, hello, sir. Welcome to the party. How's it going? Oh, okay. You're gonna sit right here. Anyways, I didn't think the cork was going to come out, but it does. And that's really neat. And I love that. And I love little tiny bottles. An unnecessary amount of joy. It's just a little bottle. Okay, I'm just gonna need you to move for, oh, please don't step on my keyboard. Cat did that. So now that this is all shifted out of the way, here is the last thing that I received. I got one, my husband got another. We were waiting in line at the bakery because I wanted to buy another rainbow cake, which I don't have a picture of, but holy moly do I wish I do. It's the most amazing thing. It's a white cake with white frosting on the outside, but on the inside each layer has a different color of the rainbow frosting, which is really, really neat. And also the outside is rolled in like fruity pebbles, I think. I'm not a huge fan of cereal in dessert because I don't know, it's kind of weird, but it was really good. It really hit the spot, especially when it's frozen. I love frozen cake. Don't ask me why. It's just like, I'm not a huge frosting person, but I do like frosting, but I prefer frosting when it's frozen because it's kind of like ice cream, but not. This is not good. This is not helping, and this is very distracted from the topic that is these, which I will once again change the focus on the camera for. Simply will not. I will just simply, it's because my hands are not very steady. I'm sorry. Look at these little fellows. They're like little koi fish, kind of shiny crystal thingies. Look how cute they are. I got them, like I said, while waiting in line for the bakery for that cake. I ended up getting a cookie and a cheesecake, so it's fine. Not a big deal. I freaking love cheesecake too. I just love sweets. She was like in front of me, and then she turned around and she was like, whoa! And I was like, hi, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. And she was like, no, do you want a trinket? And I was like, yes, I want a trinket. I love trinkets, please. And I was like, and she pulled out like a test tube that was full of all these sparkly little creatures. I think they were all fish. She had the little test tube and she poured them out and she gave us these cool little fish, which I think will also look good sewed onto the costume, although I think they might be a little too small for like to look nice with embroidery thread. I might just glue them. I am afraid that I'm going to lose them though. Thus begins my collection of odd items that I'm going to sew directly onto my costume. I'm going to keep them all and I'm not going to throw them away because I love receiving items. Oh wait, no, this isn't the last item. It's over here. This was the very last item that I received at the Ren Fair this year, and I was not expecting it, but look at this. It's a whole flower. You can actually see it on the normal camera. Like this fish, you can't hardly see it on the web camera, but on this camera, you could see this flower. It's a little plastic pink rose. Towards the end, while I was waiting in line for the bakery, a couple people came up to me and they all were talking about like, oh, you look so cool, which was very nice of them because it was the end of the day. And I know for a fact, because when I got home, I took out my contacts and I was like, oh, I am hideous. It was all cracked because I had been like smiling, especially like around these smile lines. I was sweating. So I know for a fact that I was not looking peak Io at the moment that I received this. And I just got, I don't know, people are so stinking nice. It was these two girls. They had like a basket full of flowers, and there are people who walk around the Ren Fair selling flowers, and I thought that they were selling these. So I was like, oh, how much do I need to pay you? And they were like, it's free. I'm giving this to you because you're cool. And I was like, what? You like me? Thanks. It was just really neat. They were so sweet. I love girls, man. They're so nice. I'm a married woman, married to a man. They were so nice. They were so sweet. It was so cute. But anyways, that, for real, concludes the trinkets escapade, the trinkets collection. But anyways, I always think giving out trinkets is a really cool thing to do. I think maybe I should do it one year. Wouldn't that be kind of neat? But I don't know, I don't like approaching people. I feel like I'm bothering them. But of course, like whenever I receive a trinket, I'm freaking excited. So maybe everybody else will be excited if I give them a trinket too. Well, I don't know. What should I give? I freaking love these potion bottles. Maybe I'll give potion bottles as Io. That's suspicious. You don't want to take a potion bottle from Io. But I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll see what I do next year. Who knows? Not me.